Have you ever seen a kid in the store throwing a temper tantrum because they can't get what they want? I know I have. Have you ever given a child something when they're screaming and whining for it just because you want them to be quiet? I'm sure we're all guilty of this. Have you ever seen a conceited and narcissistic adult and think to yourself, wow, what a jerk, instead of thinking about how their childhood could have affected this personality? My name is Michaela, and today we're going to talk about why you should not spoil your children and the effects that it can have on them. My goal for all of you today is to be educated on the effects of spoiling your child and learn why you should not be giving in to their whining. I will be going over how they become entitled, self-centered, and how spoiling your child affects their adulthood, as well as some tips to help avoid giving in to your child when they are demanding. Getting started. There seems to be a big increase in kids with bad, snarky attitudes these days. Why is that? A lot of children become entitled when you continuously give them what they want. Letting things slide is always the easiest thing to do in parenting, no less than in banking, public education, and environmental protection, said by K.J. Dell'Antonia. Not only does it make them feel entitled, but they will start acting out more. They see that you give in to them when they whine, so it enables them to act out to get their way because that is how you are responding to their bad behavior. Most excuses for giving in are because they want the child to stop whining and be quiet instead of just teaching them that they cannot always get their way. Some include wanting their children to be better than other children, so they give their kids the most up-to-date fashion, clothes, and spoil their children with lots of toys. A lack of discipline is apparent these days in just about every aspect of American society, said by Dell'Antonia. In order to maintain a healthy balance of love and spoiling, you need to incorporate discipline in their lives and teach them the real-world expectations. In a way, spoiling a child is like conditioning them to be a mini monster. The children that get spoiled the most tend to be a lot more demanding, self-centered, and rebellious. Children can develop a sense of self-centeredness where they think the world revolves around them and only them. According to Deborah Netburn, Brad Bushman states that if you overvalue your child in trying to make them better than other kids with materialistic things, they will become more narcissistic as they get older. The spoiled child can have a distorted view of the way the world actually works. As said by Karen Carbo, an 18-year-old who has never suffered disappointment, failure, or frustration is ill-equipped to live as an adult in an unjust world, and is also usually completely insufferable. Meaning, if a child grows up never being told no and never being disappointed, when he or she enters the real world, they will be full of letdowns and they will be unprepared for life as an adult. Now that we've gone over a couple of the effects of spoiling children, let's get into more of the long-term psychological effects. Spoiling your child can have a negative effect on their adult life. It can hinder their social and emotional development. According to Brenda Scottsdale, researchers Connie Dawson and David J. Breedhoft cite a study showing that college-age young adults who were spoiled as children tended to believe that being alone makes a person unhappy and that their source of happiness is other people rather than themselves. Socially, it can be very difficult for these kids to keep friends that they make because they have a hard time sharing things, they're too conceited, or they get bored easily. Children can become narcissistic, greedy adults who can't take responsibility for their actions. Because they were given everything as a child, when they become adults, they will have a very high self-esteem and become very egocentric, who think that they are higher up than everyone else and have no regard for anyone else's feelings as long as they are getting what they want. For example, my brother has always been spoiled as a child. He is now 19 years old with a 2010 Mercedes-Benz that our aunt bought for him because somehow he convinced them that buying a $10,000 car would be cheaper than fixing his old car. He then popped his 2 front tires on his Mercedes and had my best friend pay for the tow truck with the only money that she had left for groceries and no job. He didn't consider or have any regard to how that would affect her, and still to this day has not paid her back. Just saying no can prevent all these long-term effects. We have finally covered all of the short and long-term effects that spoiling can have on your child as they get older. They become self-centered and narcissistic adults. Be aware of when you say yes to your child and when to say no. It's always great to give your kids gifts here and there, but when they start acting out, you need to be aware of the situation and condition them to learn that they can't always get everything in life. Teach them to earn what they want by helping around the house or doing yard work even. Spoiling your child is easy, but you need to find the right balance between love and working for what you want. Thank you.